Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 193 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by our latest Patreon supporter, Matt Williams. You too can help support the show just like Matt. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Your support helps us with our production and hosting costs, I should say, and are greatly appreciated by all of us here. And of course, don't forget, everybody who becomes a financial Patreon supporter gets an OTB sticker. So, what are you waiting for? Come along and help support the show.
Are you looking for top quality paints for your next project? Then look no further than the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's hobby paint. Hi, I'm Scott, and as a passionate modeler myself, I've spent years creating the SMS product range, designing them specifically with the Scale Modeler in mind. We have worked extensively to develop our acrylic lacquer paint range to not only be airbrush ready straight out of the bottle, but also to be easy to use so that anyone of any skill level can create professional results with minimal effort. Just give the bottle a good shake, pour into your airbrush and spray at 15 psi. So dive into your next project with confidence, knowing that you're backed by one of the finest hobby paints on the market. Head over to our website at scalemodeler.com.au to check out our full range and to find your closest retailer.
And hello and welcome to the show. And yes, I am back from my wanderings around the world, and here in the studio to hear all about my adventures is Julian.
Yes, I'm here. I'm definitely ready to hear it.
Of course, Ian.
G'day, Dave, and welcome back, mate.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a huge trip that was.
I bet.
Canada, US, Japan.
It feels
back
like a
home.
big deal because we haven't seen you for quite a while.
Well, it's been 3 weeks at least.
Well, the listeners don't sort of get that because we had all those pre-recorded episodes before you left.
Yeah. Oh, and geez, I met so many of our listeners. It was awesome. But I've got a list of names to read out later on of people whom I remembered to write down. So I was a bit smart this time. I actually thought I'd write down some of the guys I met, and so it was really cool.
Sounds good. Can't wait to talk about it.
No. Well, before we do that, I want to hear what you guys have been up to the last bit of time while I've been away.
Me?
You've been up to nothing, have you?
I've just been busy doing family stuff, mate. That's all. My life revolves around work and looking after mum.
How about you, Julian?
A little bit of painting, but not much. Not as much as I'd like. It seems like it's been pretty cold.
It has been freaking freezing here for the last few weeks.
Yeah, particularly cold, yeah.
I can't remember it being that cold for many
We've had a lot
years.
of
mild winters.
Yeah, a lot of mild winters.
This is our first, lots with Arctic blasts straight off Antarctica.
I know.
So I chose the right time of the year to go
You
away.
definitely did.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, you get psyched up and you're like, okay, weekend's here, time to get something done. And you look out that window and it's like
it's
nah.
just too miserable out there. It's just too
It's not happening. It's not happening, It's like this week, it was, cold, but not rainy. And then
this
you
weekend
look at the forecast and as soon as it hits the weekend, rain.
Yeah.
And was it 11 degrees tomorrow?
I mean, it's not like I'm airbrushing in the rain, but I'm in the garage, but it's still.
That'd be cold in there too.
I got a little heater to keep my feet warm. If I
Gee, that's not enough, man. You need more
Nah.
than
But
that.
it's too cold to paint anyway.
I just think, I just don't. It's a hobby. I'm supposed to enjoy it. I'm not going to go out there and freeze myself. Just
Well, I was the opposite because I was in the Northern Hemisphere in the summer, and geez,
it would have been nice. Yeah.
It was.
Was it as hot in Wisconsin as it was?
No, thank God. No. Wisconsin is actually a very beautiful place to be in summer, and we're right on the lake there. And
I saw some photos. Looks like a really nice area.
Oh, it's a superb area. And if you haven't been to Wisconsin before, man, it's one of the. it was as clean as Washington DC because you guys have been
Yep.
there, and it was just like that. It was just immaculate. And it was just really, really beautiful place.
Oh, very cool.
Even the two beggars I met were very polite as well, which is different from my experiences in other parts around the world. But
Yep.
no, it was really good. And it had a lot of pubs there.
You know, we didn't actually hear much from you while you were in the States.
No, you guys didn't.
No, you're probably too busy.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
saving
also,
myself up when I got
on,
back.
on a different, 24-hour clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
I mean, I can talk to, Brian from Built Sideways podcast
Yeah.
because that guy sleeps only like 3 hours a day, It's crazy.
God. Geez, you'd be a mess after that.
Yeah, he's sending me messages while I'm at work. I'm like, shouldn't you be even freaking sleeping right now? And they're like, nah, I'm good.
So Wisconsin, absolutely beautiful. I loved Madison. I thought it was a lovely little city. And and as I said, great pubs. But the Americans are into this thing. They're all into IPAs at the moment, and I'm not a big fan of IPAs.
They have been for quite a while. Like the last, I want to say 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
like
remember that when we went to Washington. I had that IPA at the bar, at that old bar they got there, and it was like, won't have that again.
Yeah, I like my lagers and I like my bitters, and I'm not a big fan. Although Kentucky Dave got me on I think it was Gumball. It's
Okay.
Gumball IPA, and it's interesting. It's sort of got like this little. You drink it and it hits your mouth and you go ugh, but you take a second swig and you go, oh, that's not too bad.
Are you sure that's not just you?
Yeah,
because
sure.
you said the similar things about the coffee when we were there last time, right?
Oh, I had some great coffee over in the US this
Oh,
time.
did ya?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, that's all right.
I really lucked out with the coffee in most places.
Okay.
But then you put, half and half in it and you're laughing because it sort of brings it back to semi-halfway decent coffee then.
Okay.
So it's not too bad. Even in Japan, I had really good coffee in Japan.
Yeah.
That surprised me. Which shouldn't have, but it did.
See, I didn't enjoy most of the coffees I had in Japan.
Oh, really?
Nah.
Huh.
Wasn't my sort
but
of
you're
stuff.
a coffee snob.
But they, I don't drink black coffee, right? And Japan is very much like, I think they're, out of all the countries that sort of consume coffee, and like they've got the highest percentage of people who prefer black coffee.
That's interesting because I was able to get a nice cappuccino in Tokyo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which I was very surprised. So, but anyway, we got a heap of stuff to get through. I'm going to talk about all my adventures, but before
And
I
all of
do,
the stuff that you bought.
all the stuff I bought, all the people I met, all the things that I did, all the crazy things, adventures I had, but we got a heap of mail. So,
Oh, yeah, that's been accumulating for 3 weeks.
I reckon we kick off with mail first.
Yeah, I reckon it's a great idea.
And then we'll sort of dive into all the other stuff. How's that sound?
Sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Rightio. Well, let's kick off first of all with Uriah Cone. I'm still
Cone?
murdering Cone. And he writes, I'm sure Ian would be thrilled to know that Border Models issuing a new 1350 scale Yamato packed with PE 3D printed and slide mold parts to make construction easier.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, that sounds very interesting.
And he actually sent a picture of it, which it looks really, really good.
Yeah. Very
So
cool.
thanks for writing in and letting us know about that one.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. You're right.
Next one. A couple of episodes ago, I made a comment of saying Hands of Blue 2x2. And I was really pleased there were some listeners out there who knew exactly what I was talking about. And
I didn't pick up on that.
Dave Kenzie wrote in, hi benches. This aged decrepit brown coat says shiny. It is the time of Reaver's wannabe emperors. May a firefly lead you to serenity.
Yes.
See, I'm a fan of that series, but it's not like I ever watched it more than once. So I didn't. That reference just went over my head.
I think the reference of that came from one of the movies, actually.
Oh, was
They
it?
did, yeah.
Well, they only did one movie.
They did two.
They did one.
Oh, maybe they did one.
Because the show got cancelled, so
Yeah,
they
that's
finished
right.
it off, and they did because they only did one season.
Yeah.
They didn't even do that. It's only 11 episodes or something.
Something like
Why do I think that they did two
No,
movies?
they did the one to finish everything, tie everything up at the end.
All right. Matt Payne writes in, hello, gentlemen. I hope this finds you at least slightly warm, as it seems to be the middle of a very cold winter here in Brisbane, dropping below 20 degrees most days. Oh, you poor person.
Come down to Melbourne, mate.
I've been a listener for a few months and slowly catching up with earlier episodes while still listening to the most recent when they come out. I've been modelling since my early teens and now approaching my 50th birthday. Some of your more recent episodes have given me thought about what to do with my stash for when I shuffle off this mortal coil and hopefully have some built and sell some as well. I emailed you today as I am what I would describe myself as an ADHD modeller. Not officially diagnosed, but have done a few tests. Oh, Dr. Google, huh? I've done a few tests into my behaviour when modelling. If I find a new kit I'm interested in, I can spend hours researching the web for previous builds, current photos, aftermarket kits, and anything to do with it. I can find myself target fixated on one particular scheme, paint job, or anything to do with it. For example, I have a Mobius 1/24 scale ProStar truck. Once I bought that, I emailed Revell to buy their decal sheet, as Revell did a version with much better decals, and they sent me one for free.
Oh, jeez, that's good on you, Revell.
I also brought 2 photo etch sets from Czech truck models and several sorted truck decal sheets and resin parts from Kit Form Services. So I brought the kit for around $100 and probably spent another $200 on aftermarket stuff. Ian, that's your kind of guy.
It is, yes. Good on you. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
I also just don't make one particular subject. I started with 135th military and now make anything and everything, especially if it looks cool. I make cars, trucks, planes, helicopters, sci-fi, Gundam figures, bus, Warhammer, and even started scratch building. Makes for an interesting time when deciding on my next build, especially when I have around 20 figures, 4 cars, 2 trucks, 3 dioramas, and countless other builds on the go.
Oh, wow.
So I want to ask, what would you be considered your Holy Grail kit? Are you still looking for it, or do you have one? So, gents, what's your Holy Grail kit?
I've got mine.
What's yours?
Mine was me 1/350 scale Yorktown seat. Yeah.
Julian?
I'm not sure, but to mind, there's been several in different genres, right? For in armor, it was the M18 Hellcat,
Yep.
which we now have from Tamiya. I salute Tamiya once again. In aircraft, I suppose it would be. I mean, it was always changing because it's like, you achieve it, and then, well, what's the next one, you know? And then I suppose at one point it would be the A4 Skyhawk in Vietnam. I forgot which variant of it is.
Yep.
But I think it was the E, something like that.
Could
Yeah. But I think Magic Factory is bringing one of those out, aren't they?
I know they're bringing out a Skyhawk. Or
They're bringing out a Skyhawk. I just can't remember which one it is. In any case, that might be the cake. And for cars, it was the Datsun 240Z, which I have. But that's like sort of the Geno's version, which I wasn't a fan of, and they're in the process of bringing out the one I do want.
Right.
And they're calling it Street Custom version, where it's got different wheels that aren't stupid.
Was that the Tamiya one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that's got the blue car on the box.
Yeah, it's not like there wasn't a kit of that prior to it. But that's just so much better.
Yep.
So much better. So there's that, you know.
And you, Dave?
I've got 3.
Mm-hmm.
I want a decent Rostock rocket in 72nd scale that's not a Mach 2 kit. I want a decent or a 72nd scale Titan, though there's some news about the Titans coming out. So both through our good friend Tony at Horizon, and also a new guy I came across at the at Madison. And oh gosh, it was a third one. I sort of slipped my mind there. I'll have to go back and
Was
think
it a
about
sub?
that. No, I've got all my subs. I'm happy with subs.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get everything I need.
Everything in. Okay.
Although I do want to go and do a another nuke boat to make it an Aussie version. So
Yeah.
I'd like to get my hands on an AE1.
I'm sure there's one around in resin.
It's very old.
Anyway, so Matt says, there you go, Matt. That's what we're thinking.
Kudos to Matt.
So
Because,
what was his? His was the 48 scale Testors F19.
Yes, in high school, you used to play a game called Project Stealth. It's been around. It had the round frisbee-looking hypothetical stealth fighter which you would fly on missions all over the world. I'd been after the Testers 48 scale F-19 kit for over 20 years, and I finally got one when a mate on Facebook found one in his local hobby shop. Wow.
Oh, good score, mate.
Definitely be built once I sort out my new build area. Hopefully this hasn't been too long of a read, and I will be at QMHE this year and come up and introduce myself when I'm there. Thanks, Matt Payne. Matt will be there as well.
Looking forward to catching up, mate.
And it should be a great... It's not far off now for us, is it?
I'm always happy
2 or 3 weeks
to hear that a model that does multiple genres, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Totally agree.
John Fenton writes in, feedback on episode 191. G'day, boys. Long-time listener, first-time writer. Love the podcast, but felt attacked. I say again, attacked by Dave's off-the-cuff comments about anyone category bombing at competitions when they enter competitions with multiple models in the same category purely in an effort to win trophies. As someone who builds mostly 48-scale aircraft, if I'm going to a competition, unsurprisingly, I'm going to enter multiple 148-scale aircraft. Am I doing this to trophy hunt? Considering in this part of the world, which is South Island, New Zealand, where all competitors are competitions are gold, silver, bronze, I can only win one trophy, best aircraft. If anything, I'm completely limiting my chances of winning a trophy, as of put all my eggs in one basket, in the one metaphorical basket. Mm-hmm. The Nationals here in New Zealand is held in a different city every year, so even getting to attend it can be logistically difficult. So depending on the number of years between entering, some folks can show up with many models completed over a couple of years. Do we want to tell them to choose one for each category when entering? That craziness would result in much less models being entered and much less interesting show. Also, if I go to a show and I know certain modelers are going to be there, I'd be extremely disappointed if they didn't bring certain models I've previously seen on social media. The whole point of the show is to look at models after all. Mm-hmm. The more the merrier.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm sure you'll think better of those ill-thought comments, as I'm sure you'll agree. It completely depends on the competition and situation. As I said, love the show. Please keep up the good work. In case you're still unsure, any outrage expressed above is purely tongue-in-cheek. Kia ora. That's from John.
Wow.
Valid point.
He's got a very valid point.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I think with GSB, it doesn't really matter, does it? How many you enter?
Yeah, that's it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just thinking because I think the rule is for the US Nationals, which I was just at. If you have a model in, say, one category, say it's 148 aircraft, props, British, World War II, because they have all these crazy categories over there. Say you enter 6 Spitfires, and one of your Spitfires wins gold, another one gets chosen as silver, and another one gets chosen as bronze.
Yeah, like what happened to me at Canberra.
I'm pretty sure they drop out 2 of them and only the highest one wins. Because I think they have what they call a clean sweep rule.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I shouldn't really have been able to take home, like, all 3.
Yeah. But that's...
I think they hadn't had it happen before at Canberra, and that's why I was able to do it. And I think they fixed it, didn't they?
I don't know. We'll have to ask...
We'll find out this year when you...
I don't know if I'll have as many cars built that time around, but anyway.
So look, I am conflicted by this. I think but if you just had gold, silver, bronze, it wouldn't matter.
You'll need to ponder it on these long, cold winter days.
Thanks, John Fenton. Now I have to think.
I love it.
Okay. We'll get back to that one. Dermot Crowley writes in, "Hi boys, greetings from a relatively newbie to the scale modelling, or at least scale modelling in the past 40 years. I do have a question, but thought I'd share my short journey so far, and thank you all for giving me a jump start back into the world of modelling.
You're welcome.
This is a long one, so feel free to edit it for the show if reading it out. So, and I will. So, he just talks about how he used to build airfix kits as a kid back in Dublin, Ireland, and he let go of the hobby as much as we all do. but sort of came back to it. And what his question is, I have obviously fallen head over heels with scale modelling as a mature adult. Myself and my wife, with inspiration from you boys, have decided to drive to Canberra show later this year. Wow, looking forward to it, Dermot.
Yeah.
Being my first show, it will be a bit daunting. What advice would you give to a newbie to the hobby going into such a rich environment? What should I do to get the most out of the experience? I can be quite shy and introverted, but I know I will want to connect and learn as much as I can. Keep up the good work and know that the hobby is not dying as often discussed, and there are people like me who just need the right inspiration to get back into it. Your podcast has helped with that, so a big thank you. That's regards from Dermot Crowley. Right.
Well,
So,
if anything, he's picked the perfect show to go to for
he
the
has.
first show.
He has.
It is the most friendly
Yep.
atmosphere. And yeah, if you're introverted, well, people are going to.
aren't most modelers introverted?
Well, yeah, that's
with,
why-
with the exception of one or two that we perhaps know.
Yeah.
Most of us are rather sort of shy and introverted.
Yeah. But the thing is, it all automatically disappears when you're at the show.
Yeah, it does.
Because you're looking at kits and people look at the same kits, and you just end up automatically striking up conversations. And
I mean, the fact that you're there, you got common ground modeling, right?
Yeah.
Then there's also one of the things, like if you want to get the most out of the show, first thing you should do is look at what workshops are on.
Yes,
there's some good workshops
Because
happening.
you can come back and look at the models at any point in time in between going to the workshops that you want. And then you can, when the workshop's over, you can just go over and pick their brain.
Have a look
Any
at
questions you might have.
the trader tables and
And kudos to the boys at Canberra. They really work hard to make it a real sociable sort of atmosphere as well.
yeah.
And half the fun of the show is what happens after the show closes. You go for drinks and dinner with everybody.
Yeah, we always have a ball.
So don't be afraid to enter any kits into the competition. By all means, go ahead. I mean, we're always very nervous in our own worst enemies about what we consider to be good and not good, and you're not going to know until you sort of put them in.
And you're going to, and actually, and by speaking to other people, you're going to learn so much.
Yeah.
You're going to learn so much. People are going to, you're going to put something down. If you're not happy with what you're putting on the table, like you still think, oh, it's not the best compared to everyone else's, but it's all a learning experience.
Exactly
really.
right.
And you can ask people, how'd you go ahead? How'd you do that? And most people are very straightforward, and they're going to say, I did it this way.
Yeah. People love to talk about how they built it. Yeah, and got achieved to certain effects, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, you're going to get a lot out of it, Dermot.
You will.
Guaranteed.
You will. But it comes also, you might need just to push yourself a little bit and actually put yourself forward to ask questions of people there.
Yep.
And so, But you're going to love it.
Yeah, no one's going to turn you away.
No.
No one's going to, be like, it's a trade secret and it's my own special method. I'm not at liberty to say.
So, in particular, for what you're saying is, what should I do to get most out of the experience? Also, don't forget you're going to one of the most interesting capitals in the country, because a lot of other stuff
Well,
to
it is
do.
the capital of the country, Dave.
Capital cities. It's a capital city of the state and also the capital of the country. It's lots of other stuff to go and check out as well. So if you find that you've got a bit of spare time towards the end of the day or early in the morning, go and check out some of the wonderful places to have a look at.
The
Like the War Memorial.
You've got, if you're into the prehistoric stuff, they got the Dinosaur Museum.
A whole heap of stuff there.
You can take, if the wife gets bored, you can take her off to Cockington Green, the miniature village they got there.
Or just give her the car and the credit card and say, see you later.
Yeah, enjoy.
It could be dangerous.
Just make sure you have a credit limit before you leave.
Well, looking to see you at the show, Dermot. And
Say good day, Dermot.
Yeah,
Whatever you do.
absolutely.
Pop up, say good day. We're more than happy to have a chat with you.
that'd be really cool. All right, that one needs to be read out later. Brendan Wrigley writes in, hey boys, just a quick one. Permission granted, accommodation booked, so QMHE is locked in. 98 hours down the goat track. There's a Bruce Highway. I'm hoping to bring along a few of the other boys along for the ride. That's good. Looking forward to meeting you guys in person, checking out the models in the flesh, particularly Ben's figures, and spending Way too much money. I've entered a few models, so we'll see how they go at a larger show. One of interest to you guys to keep your eye out for is my 1/24th scale Rothmans Rally Art Dakar truck.
Oh, cool.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it might help push you guys over the line to get building one. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Brendan Wrigley.
Cool. Looking forward to catching up, mate.
It's only a couple of weeks away now.
Yep.
Excitement's building. I've only just got back from a show. I've been so excited to head off to another one. Stephen O'Hara writes in, hello guys, I recently got into modelling and I've already gotten hooked on this hobby. The problem I have, though, is that I'm currently in college and I live in a very small dorm room. Do you have any advice on how to continue building this environment? I don't want to use an airbrush in what amounts to my bedroom. I don't see why not. But thank you and keep up the good work. That's Stephen from Marymount, Ohio, USA.
It depends on if you're want to branch out. Not maybe you're a car, maybe you're a plane guy or a tank guy. But if you happen to be a figure guy, it's perfect.
You don't need much space.
Yeah, you don't need any space for that.
Just
enough, place to keep all the different colours you need and
brush painting.
Yeah.
And of course, you can always brush paint Warhammer. You can build Gundam without having to paint that. Just snip and assemble it.
Yeah.
So plenty of options out there, Steve.
Yeah. And you can always buy spray cans and spray them out outside.
Yeah.
In a common area.
And there's companies out there to make like little mobile workstations that you can close up and tuck away somewhere.
Oh, he's a student though. If he's going to uni, so
he's not going to have much
that
money.
Cash.
Yeah.
Although what you do is you tell your folks, "Hey, this is what I want for my birthday present this year."
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Stephen,
Mum, Dad, I want a workstation.
There's lots of options and ways to adapt and overcome.
Mm.
So check out.
The main thing also is you share them with anyone? Like I know a lot of these dorms, they usually got to share a room, don't you?
I don't know.
We've only got our...
the only American college I've ever seen is on television.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just guessing here, mate.
I don't think anyone in our city actually stays in a dorm room for our universities.
No.
Well, the overseas guys do, and the country people do.
Yeah.
News to me.
Well, you couldn't drive down from,
I get it, but I thought they just rented a place.
Oh, yeah. But there are student dorms within our university campuses.
Mm-hmm.
And they're supposed to be cheaper than sort of other areas. Anyway.
Yeah.
I know this because I used to hang around universities doing one of my previous work lives.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be a bit of a sus answer there.
Yeah, same. At first it sounded like he was going down a very dark track.
Well, funny story when I was a teenager, but anyway, I'll leave that for OTB After Dark.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve, for writing him, and hope you can find a solution. Matt writes in, howdy. Hi, guys. Love the show. Been wanting to write for a while, but didn't have anything to share besides a hello. However, after enjoying your recent episode with Lincoln on bases, I was inspired to share my experiments with forced perspective in diorama building. I fell in love with the concept of forced perspective after watching behind-the-scenes footage of movies like Lord of the Rings, and I thought that I could add interesting dimension to our hobby. While my attempts are still a bit rough, I found that forced perspective can pack more detail into less space, even if it reduces the viewing angles. For example, my diorama features a single story and a 10-story building, both roughly the same size. This technique also opens up possibilities like combining models of different scales in a single diorama. Like an interior of a hangar with 32nd scale models inside and 72nd or 1/44th models outside, viewed through the hangar doors, creating a sense of depth. Or an urban battle scene with 32nd scale figures in the foreground and similar vehicles in the background.
Smaller.
Smaller. Would even experiment with exaggerated compositions inspired by anime action scenes. I think there are some awesome possibilities to display in our model in a less traditional sense that are yet to be explored. And also, forced perspective is also box dioramas lend itself to that as well, where you got like a little peephole that you look through. So
that's actually really well done when you look at it.
Yeah, he's done a
great idea on it. Yeah.
That's
It's
fantastic.
a great little cityscape. Yeah, well done, mate.
I do want to experiment with some forced perspective photography.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because my cars, you know, under the certain circumstances, if you were to photograph them in,
They'd look real.
they would look real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I strive for,
Yes.
right? That's the goal.
Yep.
So I do want to do some photography stuff. That I've been collecting some bits and pieces, and you know, for example, one of the things I recently bought is like a clip-on lens thing for my phone.
Yep.
Oh, does that stuff work?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure it does. You can get wide-angle lenses and macro lenses and things like that. I went with was it ND filter?
I don't know. Your story.
Yeah, it's basically like a polarized filter, and
Right.
and it cuts out glare,
Oh, okay.
which helps photograph car models which are just covered in shiny, right?
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
You have to let me know how that goes.
Mm.
And also bring me the lenses. I can have a look at them.
Sure.
I'd be very intrigued about
Mm. Oh, well, I like your ideas there, Matt. I've done
Yeah,
a great
keep,
job, buddy.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
Yes, yes.
Very good. I think, and that is it for all of our listener mail. Thank you very much for writing in. And don't forget to write in. You send us an email to onthebench64@gmail.com. We love hearing what you've got to say, and we love reading it out too.
Yes.
So on that note, I think we will have a very quick break, and then we will come back and listen to my adventures all around the world. Back shortly.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Inside the Armour, and I'd like to tell you about ITA3, 3D printed parts from Inside the Armour. And I've got a bunch of stuff for your armour, aircraft, ship and other projects coming up. Starting out in 172nd in aircraft, we've got stuff for the 172nd Airfix ME410 and for the 172nd Airfix Bristol Beaufort, including all kinds of great stuff. On the armour side, I've gone back to Churchills, and I've got some really great additions to improve your AFE Club or Tamiya Churchills, including rear deck tools with moulded tool clamps, which massively improve over the kit details, air intake grills, and the exhaust, complete with shroud, which features all of the missing brackets and details from both kits. In 148, we've got the same stuff again for the Churchill, and this time with a few more wrinkles and improvements over the 148 Tamiya kit. In both scales, you can get WS19 antenna sets and fire extinguishers. And in 135th, we've got radios including WS11 for your SAS LRDG or early British war armour builds, WS19 for the rest of the war for British armour builds, including Shermans, Churchills, Comets, Cromwells and many more, and post-war radios including Larkspur and coming soon Clansman. For the US fans out there, we've also got the SCR 508, which features optional boxes to go next to the transmitter unit, and a whole bunch of other stuff coming up soon. So if you want to improve your models quickly, easily and with superb detail, go on over to InsideTheArmour.com and look up ITA3 3D printed parts.
Okay, and we're back to talk about my big adventures overseas and
Dave's big adventure.
everybody I caught up with and all the things
Yes.
I did.
Yep.
All the stuff I purchased. There's a lot of stuff I purchased.
Where do you want to start?
I think we'll do it in chronological order. So I flew into Canada first of all, so just to visit relatives there. But then I flew down to Kentucky and to meet up with Kentucky Dave and stay with him for a couple of days. But the interesting
What,
thing
lounging
is...
in his swimming pool, I gather?
Oh, you got no idea who it was.
Did you help him mow his lawns?
No.
You know, you're obligatory. You should have offered to mow his lawns, mate.
No, he'll be mowing his own lawns and listening to our podcast while he does it. And
Yeah,
then
that's a good idea.
Then he comes
You should-
inside and talks to Dave.
No, you should just have Dave sit on his lap and just talk to him.
Well, he kept threatening me to chain me to his lawnmower and take pictures of me running around. But the thing is well, before I actually departed, unfortunately, there was that political incident that happened in the US
Oh, yep.
and with one of the candidates for the presidential race. And Dave rang me and said, "Oh, you better get to the airport maybe half an hour early because I reckon security's going to be tightened up."
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was he right.
Yeah.
Really?
Instead of the normal 5 questions I get hit with when I'm crossing into the US, which is, standard,
Mm-hmm.
I got hit with about 35 questions.
Oh, really?
What are you doing in the US? I'm going to a model show. What's a model show? Well, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Wisconsin. Who are you staying with? Oh, I'm staying down in Kentucky. Why are you staying in Kentucky if you're going to Wisconsin? Blah, 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 blah. So what are you going to be doing at the model show? Looking at stuff. Are you going to be working there? No. What sort of models are you taking? Oh, I'm taking this one. Pull it out, show them. Rah, rah, rah. Anyway, 35 questions later, they finally let me into the country. And I had to fly down to Charlotte, and then I went from Montreal to Charlotte, and Charlotte to Louisville, and there's good old Kentucky Day waiting for me at the other end, taking a video as I'm coming walking down. And we went back to his place, and yes, he has this magnificent swimming pool, and he's always sort of posting and talking about how he's floating around in this pool.
Yeah.
And man, I can see why he does.
I saw the photo.
It is just awesome. And he's got these things you sit on. They're motorised.
Oh, you're kidding.
You can sort of play like battleships with each other. And they got little controllers. You go spinning around the pool with these controllers. It's like operating a little tugboat. It's hilarious. And you got little cup holders so you can put your beer in it and just chill around. And if you get too hot, you just roll over the side and sort of fall in the water.
Yep.
And it was just as much fun as you can have wearing a swimsuit. It was just really, really good. And I can really get why he sort of brags about it, because it's just so relaxing. And I was expecting it to be really, really oppressively hot down there, but it wasn't. The temperature was,
warm, but not stupidly hot.
Yeah, it's like Brisbane sort of thing, in summer. So it was just perfect. And
what, you mean it was like soup?
No, it wasn't like soup.
Brisbane's like soup in summer.
No, it wasn't that bad. And he's got this most beautiful house, beautiful family. Big shout out to his lovely wife Ruthie for cooking 2 meals for us while we were there. We ended up having hamburgers one night. Well, actually, he took me out to dinner the first night with him and his family, which was really, really good. And the next night she cooked hamburgers, which are
really nice homemade hamburgers.
Yeah. And then the following night we had a big cookout because Dr. Dave came down, which is one of our other travelling companions, and Mike came across, Mike Basket, the other half of the Mojo, and Ruthie cooked this lovely home-style Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was just divine, and the potato salad she had with it. Oh my Lord! And the corn, it was all just perfect. Now we're just sort of sitting around, we're eating that, then we're floating in the pool and watching the fireflies go off, and it was just quintessential sort of experience that you'd expect to have there. And David was just the most perfect host. I just can't rave on about how much he looked after me. It was just sensational. We had the most amazing time there, and it's interesting because Dave, he's a bit of he did politics back in university besides doing law. So instead of talking models, we spoke about politics and law for about the first 2 days. And it was really, really great, interesting sort of discussion. But Dave took me off to the Air Force Museum in Wright-Patterson.
Oh, nice.
And we went there one day. And, oh, geez, what a museum. Mm-hmm. Do yourself a favour and go to the US Air Force Museum at Wright-Patterson in Dayton, Ohio, I want to say. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely sensational. They got these huge, great big 3 ginormous hangars, and each hangar sort of has a time period. So the first one was like World War I up to like the 1930s. Got all these beautifully restored aircraft there. And then the second one was like World War II with some sort of Korean War stuff in there. And the third one was like all the post-World War II stuff.
Going up to modern.
Including a section that had rockets in there as well, like the Minuteman rocket and a few of the other. Oh, shit, I'm so happy about that. And a full-size mock-up of the space shuttle. It was a mock-up so they could used to work on, so they could understand how to move around and everything.
Yep.
And what blew my mind was how big the payload area was on that thing. I mean, I knew it was big, but until you actually stand there and look how big the payload section was, it doesn't comprehend.
Yep.
And I said all the aircraft they had there. I mean, you name every aircraft that US Air Force has flown, with a couple of the ones that they combated against, and it was just everything was there. What's that great big bomber they had and it never went into production?
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yes. Oh,
XB-70.
yes. Oh, my giddy aunt.
Yeah.
I'm walking around having heart palpitations looking at all this stuff. And you know what? There's all that and it costs not a cent to get in.
Oh, wow, that's even better.
100% free.
Wow.
So if you want 2 days, and you'd need a good 2 days really, we didn't do it justice. We were only there for about 5 hours, I think, because a long drive up and a long drive back. If you want, somewhere we can go and it's all for free, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It was just, yeah. So I was in seventh heaven. I was just, beside myself with glee. We had a really good time there. The next day, we end up going down to, I forgot where it is. Anyway, they have a LST from World War II there, LST 352, which she saw service with the US Navy, and I think she was at the Italian landings at Angio, and also on D-Day. So, and it then got given to the Greek Navy, and it was found by these guys in the US, and they actually went across and brought it back, which was a interesting story all in itself, because apparently it was barely seaworthy and they thought it was going to sink.
Say it would have been, yeah.
And it was in such bad condition that they wouldn't let them put an American flag and to come back into the US, so they strung a pirate flag up, which just so appeals to me, so they could get it back. But anyway, just to be able to, and this thing actually operates. They go up and down the rivers and do tours on it.
Huh.
And
cool.
It's not only the LST, but they've got a couple of LCIs next to it too, landing craft infantry, that they sort of use as well. And so this thing is actually operating, and it's like a working museum. And to stand on the ramp of the LCT, where tanks and troops walked over, disembarked to go on to D-Day, it's just the most bone-chillingly amazing thing you can do. You can just close your eyes and you can just
you can feel it.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a lovely example of what oil canning looks like on a ship.
Yep.
Because all the decks have sort of got all the oil canning in it and all along the sides, and it still smells like that ship smells. You and I have been on warships before, and they've got that particular sort of linoleum, diesel, hydraulic, metal smell to it.
Oil,
and it's instantly if I say the smell of an old ship or an old aircraft, just take them back there, And so they've done a wonderful job in restoring it, and it was just really, really cool to go and have a look. But oh my God, it would have been so hot in there. Because it was a relatively mild day when we went there, but even going below decks, it was stiflingly hot because there was no air conditioning there or anything.
No, if anything, they might have had the odd fan.
Well, they've modernised it so in the crew section, when they're actually using it up and down the river, they do have air conditioning in it. But the rest of it, no, and and they shoehorned 10 Shermans in there, plus all the crews for it as well. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I had a most wonderful time looking at that, and and it would be great to actually go down and check it out when it's going up and down the river and doing a cruise on it.
Definitely,
that'd be awesome.
That sounds great.
So then we went. So that day, then we head back and we had a cookout. That's where we met Dr. Dave and Mike, and that's where Ruthie cooked that lovely homemade Kentucky Fried Chicken. And as I said, we just sat around and yacked, and then we drove up to Madison from there, which is, I think, about, I'd say it's an 8-hour drive, 7-hour drive.
Oh, that's a decent drive, yeah.
Yeah, it's like us going from here to Canberra.
So now it's the show part, right?
Well, now we're getting to the show part, but yes, it was a nice long drive up, and we were talking about, you get guys in the car, and we sort of, talk and gibber to each other. And Mike did all the driving, which was really good, so we could just sit back and relax and just chill out, and then drove all the way up to Madison. But before I finish that, I want to say, if any of you ever get an invitation from Kentucky Dave to go to his place, snap it up in a hurry, because you couldn't find a 5-star hotel better.
Oh wow, that's good.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's a very exclusive club.
Oh well, yes, and I'm in the exclusive club now. So thanks to the Dave and his lovely family, and also the Mojo boys for looking after me. It was a lot of fun and a lot of laughs.
Good.
And a few beers were had.
Sounds awesome.
You want to see how those dudes pack to go up?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the alcohol they packed for the dojo. They've got bottles upon bottles of bourbon and stuff, and they're shoving it in there. And I'm thinking, well, where's all the models going to go? That was just for the trip up. So I was a little bit concerned that everything would fit in, but thankfully it did, which was really good. So we got to Madison, and as I said before, Madison was just the best location, just on this like little peninsula of the lake and everything. And the convention center was really, 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 really well thought out, and it was just perfect for a large-scale show like this. You had multiple levels. I think the top area was where you booked in, like a long hallway, and you went down and did your registration. And again, the guys made that seamless. You just rocked up. It was very similar to Omaha in that respect.
Yeah. Just
there was no
up,
hassle.
Yeah.
No hassle whatsoever.
Yeah, walk up, get your little baggie.
Yep.
And your little name tag.
Exactly right. Get your model and, put that in. And it was just absolutely seamless. So kudos to all the guys and girls that worked for the last couple of years to get that side. It was just seamless from the point of view of the person entering. Mm-hmm. Certainly in my experience anyway.
Yep.
As I said, the location was fantastic. So upstairs is where the model show actually was. So they had 2 rooms. Mm-hmm. One room had like all the cars and the figures in it, and the other room had all the other stuff in it. And they were huge rooms. Oh, and they had the tables up on these risers. So no more bending down, walking along looking at tables, because they're up at chest height.
Oh, wow.
And it made the experience so much better, because no sore back, nothing like that. And everything, because everything was at like chest height.
Oh, no need to worry about like your camera dangling over the models and and bumping into things.
And they're already at camera height to take the perfect photo, so you don't have to lean over a whole heap of models to sort of take the shot. It was really, really, really well done, and I wish it's something that all the shows here in Australia should take note of and do a similar thing, because it just added that next level of enjoyment to it.
Yeah.
Because if you go to a show and after you've gone up and down, you get this sore back from leaning over the whole day.
Yeah, because we're getting old.
Well, yeah, because we're getting old. But it was just perfect. It was really well done.
I can see a drawback though.
What's that?
It being too high up for kids.
I think if you're a kid, so most kids, I'm thinking about my 10-year-old grandson, and he comes up to my chin now. So for him, it would have been at sort of neck level.
Okay.
That's a 10-year-old.
Okay. Oh,
So-
okay, that's not bad.
I think for
I thought
people,
in my head it sounded like they're taller than you made it out to be. or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, it's not that tall, but it's not that.
Just
And-
enough.
And I think that it was at head height or neck height head height for wheelchairs. I think. I don't know.
I don't know. Ask Will.
He
Well,
wasn't
Will
there.
didn't go.
That's true. That's true. I know. I just assumed that because he was there last time that he goes to them all the time. But no, that's obviously not the case.
It would have been a long trip for him. Then you go down to like a middle level. You go downstairs, and they had what they call the tiger meat, and that's where, you know how in Australia we have all the clubs sort of put displays on. And
Yeah,
there's-
club displays,
or,
yep.
For Telford, like be a special interest group,
Yep.
and that's what they had down in these rooms. Which it's wonderful they did that, but I would have preferred to have that up in the actual model display room. The fact it was separate kind of felt a little bit disjointed to me. And I think they deserve equal billing with the models that have been entered into the show. So I think for future shows, that may be something that they need to think about and consider. Have them all and treat them equally, One's not sort of higher, special than the other. But there's some great displays there. I saw the D-Day show D-Day display that the geeks put in. And I saw Whitey's C-47 with his paratroopers.
Oh, cool.
Damn it, that boy can model.
Yeah, I know.
It's not bad. I hope he's not listening to this. I don't want to get a big head. And then you go down to the next section after that, and it's got the vendor's room, which to my little Aussie eyes seemed even bigger than what Omaha was. It was just huge. Not as many second-hand ones as we saw at Omaha, and a lot more sort of, retail.
Yep, and companies like Edward.
Yeah. But it was just absolutely huge. And so some of the ones that I sort of caught up with and had to talk to, Shadow 3D Modelers, he's a new guy who's doing real space rockets in 3D. And I ended up I pre-ordered 2 of them before I got there. So I already spent $250 before I got to the US. And then when I got there, I saw another 2 in 72nd scale and bought them while I was there as well.
Why not?
So I bought 4 from him. And I've got to have him on the show. We need to have a chat to him about that. Rock Rozak from Detail and Scale was there, and I caught up and had a chat with him. Not half as long as I wanted to, but we've already had a discussion, and we're going to have those boys on the show moving forward.
From Detail and Scale?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a heap of their books.
Oh, and Rock is just the nicest guy to talk to.
Cool.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I've got all
cool.
their World War II US Navy books.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Bases by Bill. They didn't have a display there, but I caught up with Bill and also Christian, and they've got an exciting announcement coming up in regards to how they're pivoting.
Oh, cool.
But they actually did the major awards for the show, and they had this 2 awards. I can't remember what they were for, but they had the outline of, I want to say, the state of Wisconsin, I think it was. And they had red, white, and blue LEDs backlit. It was just amazing. The most amazing sort of award I've ever seen in my life. So kudos to Bill and Christian for that. It was just brilliant. Caught it with One Man Army. He does... what do you call them? Oh, my giddy aunt. He does masks. He does mask sets for 48 scale and 32nd scale models, and his work is absolutely exquisite. And he gave me a whole heap of freebies to bring home, which I think I've given you guys.
Yeah, because they also do like the masks for like doing stencils on aircraft.
Yes,
yeah, and they're really fine. Yeah.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, I want to get one of their sets from your Spitfire.
Oh, do you now? Well, it's interesting. I've got a set as a giveaway, so we'll be doing a giveaway to our Patreon supporters.
Oh, cool.
This show will be announcing the winner of that next show. But so just as a heads up, there will be a giveaway for One Man Army for. I think I've got it here.
Yep. Just having a look.
No, I didn't bring it in. I'll go and get it. I'll get it after we have a break. Had a look at AK and their new painting pencils. Not painting pencils.
The markers.
The
paint
markers.
Yeah. People are raving about those.
They're not bad. They're not bad at all. And I'm kicking myself now. Should have brought the set while I was there, because I think it would have been cheaper for me to buy it there.
It might be a case where it takes a month or 2 to circulate over to our side of the pond.
Yeah, but the stupid thing is that if I had have bought it there, I probably, even with the exchange rate, I would have saved money than what it probably cost here.
Yeah.
And with that sort of thing, rather than buying 1 or 2, I'll just buy the whole lot. And it came in a nice sort of display case. Not display case, but a nice packaging thing.
Yeah, like they did with their weathering pencils.
Yeah. So I'm kicking myself for not picking them up. But I had a little practice with them and play with them, and they're not bad. I could definitely see where they're going to sort of fit into how I build stuff. So it'd be really cool.
Okay.
And I caught up with Valeria from ICM Models.
Ooh.
And had a nice long chat with her. Another person we're going to be getting on the show moving forward. And she was just the most loveliest person. And it was really great having a chat with her. And I'm super excited about us having her on the show moving forward because, she's just
they've just got some nice kits coming out, like the Marauder looks fantastic.
Yeah.
They've got the Key 21 Sally coming out in 48 scale.
Their kit choice in recent years has been spot on.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
It really has. I mean, the helicopters they're producing.
They're World War I vehicles.
I know.
For example, I've got a few of them, and like their Model T I built, the Light Car Patrol. They're such great kits to build.
Yeah, you know,
It just literally fell together.
Les in our club,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of their recent kits, especially a lot of the Vietnam
And
era
he only
stuff.
he only builds F-16s.
Yeah, I
What the
know.
hell?
Yeah, just F-16 after F-16, and then occasionally he'll bring in these ICM kits and goes, "Oh, look how cool it is! I'll build this one day."
And one of the most other things that I was really excited to see was the 1/16th scale M113 test shot
From Andy's Hobby
from
Headquarters.
Andy's Hobby Headquarters. Had a great chat with Andy again, and also he's another guy we're going to get back on the show as
Cool.
well. He was super excited to see me. I was super excited to see
Oh,
him.
cool. Even better.
And I got a couple of the guys back here, and I sort of reached out to me and said, "Oh, get some photos of the interior." So, because we got a lot of excitement building in Australia about that kit coming out, and they wanted to see the detail inside, so I took some shots and posted them. And I know that some of the aftermarket boys are having a close look at that as well. So I think there's a lot of scope. And Andy's really excited about that too, that side of it as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scope for people to do modding it and bringing out sort of aftermarket stuff, so you can do more specialised versions of the M113.
Yeah, those kind of vehicles tend to have like different versions of their interiors, right? Different arrangements.
Not just the interiors, but also the exteriors as well. Like I know, because originally it was just two sticks that you pulled as a driver, and I think they've gone to a steering wheel now.
Like a yoke.
In the more recent ones. Layout where the radios go and the type of radios in there and all that sort of stuff.
And then you got like the Vietnam era extended control, so you can operate it from out, like, because you know how they used to sit on top. And fill it with sandbags and all that sort of stuff.
So I didn't get your bum blown off and hit a mine.
Yeah. Yeah, the control extensions.
Yeah. So right, so I've got a lot of other stuff to still talk about Madison. So let's kick off with the Mojo Dojo.
Yep.
All right. So these boys had just a single room with double bed in it. It was on the...
This sounds a bit sus already.
If I'm right, it was room 13 on the
Who was
7th.
the big spoon?
It was room 13 on the 7th floor. And the funny thing is, because you have to have like a key card to use the lift, so the phone would go off and there'd be people downstairs ringing up saying, "Can you come and let me up?" It's almost like a speakeasy, you know, where you knock on the door and the slit comes open, you can say the password.
Didn't get a visit from the Federales again, did they?
Well. So it's the room is probably about twice the size of this recording studio.
So it's not very big.
No. And of course, the Mojo dudes brought all their drinks with them, as I said earlier on. And of course, everybody comes into the room, brings a drink with them to sort of leave on there. So there's a lot of bourbon floating around, a lot of beers and stuff like that. And the room, the first night wasn't too bad, but the second night I went there and it was just packed. And if there were 40 guys in there, there would have been easy 40 guys, and it's just jam packed.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And so
People sitting on each other's laps. Jeez.
People sitting on the beds and
Anyone sitting in the bathtub?
No, we.
Or is that where the booze was?
No, the booze wasn't there because it wasn't. What's the booze? No, the booze wasn't there.
That's a classic move. Like you fill the bathtub with ice.
Yeah,
and you
but
put all the booze in there.
but that's where the toilet is. So if people needed to go to the loo,
Yeah.
So that was sort of off limits or kept in reserve.
Okay.
So apparently there was a complaint. So the first night, or was it the second night? The hotel doesn't send security up; they send the janitor up. Janitor up to
Okay.
come and
You invite
cut
him
the
in for a
noise
drink.
down. The night after that, apparently there were some more complaints. I don't think I was at that one, and I heard that they sent security up, followed by state police, followed by the National Guard. But that's just purely rumour. I don't know. But that's what I heard.
National Guard.
It was funny because they really had to sort of ration how many people are in there. And, oh, geez, it was funny as. Yeah. And all the big movers and shakers were there as well.
Oh, of
all
course,
the
yeah,
big
they
names.
do.
But we continued doing our usual thing where we have breakfast with each other in the morning.
Yes.
And I think there was only one breakfast where we didn't catch up with each other. But apart from that, but those guys were so busy with everybody dragging them off left, right, and centre. It was, easy. The people that I caught up with. I mean, I was blown away by the amount of people that came up and said, "Oh, g'day, love the show," and all that sort of stuff, and it was just really good to sort of catch up with all of our listeners on that side of the world. And so these are the people that I sort of caught up with. Some of you already know. So there's Dave Knights, Mike Basquette.
Yep.
Dave Waples, Pop Bar said hi. Dr. Dave was there. Eugene Sayuda came up and said g'day.
Oh, cool.
Andrew DeBoer.
Yep.
Austin Frields, who
Yep.
actually interviewed me for his YouTube channel. And he's a really cool dude, actually. Dave Bowman.
Oh, that's right, because he put that post with a list on.
Yes,
There was
yes.
And I wrote in there, good luck interviewing Dave with his grasp of English.
Dave Bowen, Brad Belsham and Dave Morris were there.
Oh, Brad. Great guy.
I met Mark Copeland, and gee, he's a funny guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big unit, but he's
Yeah,
a really
good
funny
bloke,
guy. Yeah. Mike Halliday, Chris McLean, Frank Donati was there from the Modelling Miscreants.
Yep.
Greg Williams, Dave Lockhart, had lunch with him. That was awesome.
Oh, cool.
A good friend, Mark Box.
Oh, yes. Long time listener.
Yep. Alan Murrell, who gave me a lift back to Toronto. Who else was there? Brandon Jacob, Derek Post.
Yep.
And Chris Giggity Lovewell. That's a private sort of inside joke, but anyway. Paul Gloucester.
Oh, he's always in the States, isn't he, Paul?
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, he cleaned up, man.
Yeah, I saw.
He
got
cleaned up.
3 firsts, I think he got.
Yeah.
Good on him. Go the Aussies.
And
Mind you, the kits he bought, that windshield's amazing, isn't it?
oh, no, I love that. It's got to be my all-time favourite kit of his.
Yeah.
It really does. Stephen Hassard was there as well. Hassard? I think it was Hassard. Of course, Frildo Whitey, Logan Hansen, Samo D-Ran, Tim Holland, Stephen Lee, Dana Mathers, Rob Booth, Logan Egan, Paul Wheeler, Ryan Harris, Ethan Idenmill, which was great to catch up with him, and Martin Drayton, just to name
good old
some of the people that I actually took the time to write down and say g'day and written to you as well. So that was really super cool.
Martin, one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh, yeah. So to the pubs, the nightlife.
Yep.
Oh, as I said, there are a whole heap of pubs there. There was some, surprisingly, the fact that there's a lot of IPA stuff floating around. I managed to find a couple of lagers, which I really enjoyed. So
Yeah, that's good.
and a word to the wise: if you're ever going to one of these events and you bump into two people at a bar, perhaps called Whitey and Frildo, do not, I repeat, do not attempt to go toe to toe with them.
No, they can throw them back, can't they?
They can throw them back. And there's a couple of stories, maybe rumours, there's a couple of stories that they actually closed a couple of bars, i.e. they were there until stumps.
Oh, really? Good on them. Good effort, lads. Good effort.
Oh, but it's just a barrel of laughs, those guys. They really are. And it was great to catch up with all the boys from the Geeks as well. No, I can't tell that story, so I'll leave that one aside. Anyway, yes. But there's a joke coming out of that, which I may or may not be able to sort of clean up for the listeners at some other stage. And for the awards, so my model I took over was a 1/72 scale Space 1999 Hawk,
Yes.
which travelled all the way around the world and made it there and made it home with no damage whatsoever.
Congratulations.
I was really chuffed with that. Didn't win a first, second or third, but I won something that was even more important to me. Paul Gloucester and Steve Hassard went and found this little sticker, which was a possum, and it said,
Yep.
I think "Hello Possum" or something like that. And I went and put it next to my model. So recognition from my peers, from two people who I think are some of the world's best modelers, to come along and take the time to do that. I think this is absolute awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's really
Now,
good.
speaking of the show, that what are you would have seen that great scratch-built spaceship that was from
Oh, yes.
what was that
Something
series?
Bubble? Mark Bubble? Steve Bubble?
Oh, what was it's from that
From the series, the Foundation.
Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks amazing. What's it like in
Well,
real life?
it's been on Adam.
Yeah, I saw it.
Savage's
Yeah, that's
Tested,
when I
right?
first saw it. Yeah,
If you think it looks good on that show,
in real
if you
life.
think it looks good in pictures, in real life, it is next level.
Didn't they get best of show or something, or something like that?
I
Or
want to say yes.
Yeah.
Or something. It walked away the swag of awards.
Yeah, it was, from what I've seen, it just, and that would have been one thing that would have just completely blown my mind.
That guy's a freak. I'm telling you right now.
When it comes to modelling,
it's a freak when it comes to modelling.
It's just amazing.
And you could stand there.
because in all the windows, it's got like figures.
Yeah, 350 scale figures.
Yeah, it's just,
But you could stand there for like, and look at it for like 20 minutes and take photos, and you come back and you find something else on there that you'd missed.
you've missed, yeah.
It's just one of those models that continually draws the eye back and back again, and just the craftsmanship and the thought process of how he sort of all laid it out and built it.
It's
was
really
just-
interesting that won so many awards when you consider the fact that it's 3D printed.
Yeah.
well, I think that's wonderful.
But it's also 3D printed into lots of pieces.
Yeah.
So it's like the usual sort of arguments against 3D printing don't really apply to it.
No, because he still had to build it like a model.
Yeah. Well,
And he designed it himself.
but not just that. I mean, 3D printing is a form of modelling itself. And,
Yeah.
and I think it should be celebrated and embraced by the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Even just doing 3D drawings itself is
An art.
an art form.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that that model probably, with regards to the official sort of American modeling scene, that's probably it winning that many awards
Yeah.
and being 3D printed opens a gate, you know.
Yeah.
I hope he takes it over to Europe to let people actually have the opportunity to look at it in real life, because
Yeah.
it's just absolutely gorgeous, stunning, 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 stunning. And I was very jealous, and I was very impressed, and I would have loved to have had one myself. It's that good.
Yep.
You'd make it a centerpiece in your house. That's how good it was.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So that's the awards touched off, the pubs, the people, the models. Okay, so the models that are on display. The cars, the ones... Oh, gee, I'm glad I wasn't judging the cars, because...
I imagine the competition is crazy stiff.
Well, the boys are saying there that there's not as many cars as they expected,
Okay.
which, to my eyes, they're probably right in saying that. But the ones that were there were just drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, I saw someone had built a Cobra Daytona coupe, but it was the final, the Super Coupe. And that, as soon as I saw the Super Coupe, I've just thought to myself, who makes that kit? I got to get my hands on it. It just, the photos of it just blew my mind. It's like, I like me Cobra Daytonas, but actually have the big 427, or no, is it 429? I think they had in the Super Coupe, the big bugger. Oh,
No.
that was just
So,
amazing.
just the paint finishes on some of these
Yeah.
models were just super, super impressive in the cars and the trucks as well. There was one truck there. You know how they got the a trailer and like a liquid container, and it's just all highly polished steel.
Yeah.
There was one there, and it just looked like that. It looked like you know how which strive is modelers to make it look like a real thing. This looked like it was a real thing. It just been shrunk down to 1/24 scale
wow.
or whatever. Or it was just drop dead gorgeous.
What vehicle was this?
It was a truck,
A truck.
Like a tanker.
like a tanker.
Oh, a tanker with the big tank on the back.
Yeah.
And
With
it was
the-
really
with the-
shiny.
Yeah, with the highly polished sort of metal. It was just amazing.
The ones I came across, like on highways in Japan, were so mirror-like. Like you couldn't see a fingerprint on these things, and it was eerie because on the back of them, how it's got that sort of like convex
Yes.
mirror,
Yes.
right? and you're driving behind it. It's the most eerie thing.
So there was some. I think the numbers were slightly down on the year previous, but if they count the ones in the Tiger meet, I think it's about the same, if not slightly more. Going on to aircraft, of course, aircraft is International Plane Model Society, and they're not far off with that. Oh, the category's drone on about aircraft. Oh my God! But that's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah, there's a ton of subcategories.
Yeah, I know. And there's some really, really nice aircraft there as well, as you'd expect. And well, it was really nice models of everything there. And the figures, I want to say, were a little bit down on what I sort of perhaps expected. But there were some stunning ones there as well. The science fiction section was really big, which is cool. I was really wrapped with that. The real space section was just one table. So those of you who build real space, come on, giddy up, boys. Get it out there.
Yep.
Tanks, armour, it was just... And look, there's plenty of people out there who've posted all the photos. There's plenty of people out there who've done YouTube stuff. So go and check that out. And it's just a feast for the eyes. It really was. Really thoroughly enjoyed.
That's what I forgot to ask. Was it Vargas models there?
No.
Oh, no, Louis this year.
Yeah, no, that surprised me too, actually. Yeah.
But she would have been missed.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't going to end up spending more money.
More money. I remember I spent, over $500,000 with him in an hour.
Oh.
And he's so great to deal with. Here, give me your money now. Bugger off. Yeah.
So
he's a great guy.
One of the images that caught my eye was this one.
Yes. Now, explain to the listeners what that is.
So this is like, what do you call it?
I think I won an award, that one.
It's like a kind of like, tanker, but it's got like all the hoses and stuff that come off it and pumps and things like that.
Like a truck that you see that pumps septic.
Yeah,
tanks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that because I'm not sure if it's that case. Because it's like, oh, is that a crap model? Is it? No. Here you go, have a look, Ian.
It was beautiful in real life, and I said I'm pretty sure that won an award as well. Ooh. I could be wrong.
It's filthy and it's beautiful. It's great. It's fantastic, and all the hoses look natural. The way they hang and everything.
Yeah.
Well, going off what's written on the side, it is a septic tanker.
Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, it's plenty filthy.
Yeah. I love the driver standing near the front.
Ship models again, lovely displays of ship models, some really, really good ones. Really, very impressive. And
well, gather Mark would have put a few in. Mark Box.
You know what? I didn't ask him what he put in. I was too busy, we're too busy sort of catching up with each other that I didn't ask him what he had.
What about our old mate Theron Hampton? Was he there?
I don't remember seeing him. Yeah.
He's a character, that guy. He's a great
They're all characters.
He's
over
a great
there.
guy, Theron.
They're
Theron's
all
an awesome
characters.
dude. I had such a great time with him a couple of years ago.
And of course, the other thing which is really cool too is a lot of different clubs and organisations put little poker chips down, and we had our own poker chips on the bench poker chips. So I think I put about 8 down, which was really good. So if you got one of them, well done, congratulations. And when I'm choosing a model to put a poker chip down, I'm just choosing something that appeals to me. I don't care what the finish is, how it's built. I'll look at that and say, yeah, that really appeals to me. And that's
that's what it is. That's what it's about.
Exactly right.
It's what we like.
Exactly right. So,
well, I mean, there could be any number of like different metrics that would interest you, right?
Yeah, well, that's right.
Like, oh, and this one I love the finish. This one I love the buthering. This one I love the fact that they tried something that was out of left field,
And so many people over there are saying, or not just over there, but so many people are saying that, that recognition from your peers means just as much, if not more, than,
I've seen that written a few times now. Yeah.
And it is. It's just a great way of, recognising.
Oh, I've been reading where some people are just starting to collect them now. And
well, yes, that's right.
You know what? It's actually kind of like getting social media likes, but in person.
Yes, I didn't think of that. It's a good way of... Yes.
There you go.
But it was really cool, and even clubs will do some clubs are giving out like a medallion, I almost want to say, a challenge coin or a pin from their particular club. They'd put it next to the model because they really liked it. And I just that to me really warms my heart, and that's what the hobby's all about. That sort of inclusion.
And any show that poo-poos that, well, that's just tough luck on them.
Well, I wouldn't think that any other show would want to poo-poo that. That's that's just the way things are moving forward in the modelling world.
Embrace the future, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a. I'm always interested in sort of cultural sort of things and how they come about,
Yeah,
and this is one of those things, Well, someone just had an idea and it sort of caught on, and people sort of
Thought it was a great idea.
put it out there, and it's getting around.
Well, originally you recall that we had some challenge coins that we produced.
Yeah.
And we had dropped a couple of them on various models that one of the shows are at, but that's just too expensive. That's where the poker chips come in because they're so inexpensive to purchase, and they look really cool too with different logos and designs in them.
Oh, the challenge coins are going to become like collector's items.
Well, there's a few people out there who may or may not have actually got a challenge coin when I was over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but they're really expensive to produce compared to the poker chips. So yeah, I think that's the way to go. And it's just, I think it's going to be. We'll look back in 10 years' time and say, yeah, that's where it started.
You know what it'd be? It's cool. Like if you've had a particularly exceptional model and you've won an award, perhaps.
Yeah.
But you can sit it there in your cabinet along with a stack of
a stack of poker chips.
Stack of poker chips.
Well, there's a couple of kits there that had a couple of models there. I need to get my terminology right. A couple of models there that had won major prizes, and they also had some poker chips put down next to them as well. I tried to avoid that. I really wanted to find something that just spoke to me and that really appealed to me, and that's where I put my chips down.
The underdog.
Get it? I put my chips down.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's Madison done and dusted. I think next year is, I want to say Virginia Beach, which is I think it's in Geeks Country out that way.
All right. So I'll be at home there.
Yeah. I won't be making it there next year, but we might see you the year after anyway. All right, let's have a quick break and I'll talk about the final leg home, which was Tokyo, Japan.
Hi, it's Chris, the Promotions Officer for the Queensland Model Hobbies Expo, here with your invite to join us on the 17th and 18th of August at the Ipswich Event Centre in the Ipswich Showgrounds for the 28th running of the QMHE. Register your entries for the competition or book a table for the swap meet on Sunday via the website at qmhe.com. With over 20 local and interstate retailers attending and our member clubs displaying, we hope to see you all there in August.
Okay, and welcome back for the final part of my trip around the world, where I flew from the US to Japan. And I've got to tell you guys the most surreal thing that happened to me when I'm flying.
Yep.
Because you've got all these movies to watch, right? And actually, it was when I was flying out of Japan back home to Australia, this occurred. And they had 3 episodes of the TV series, The Mighty Eighth.
Oh,
to
right.
watch.
Yep.
And we're flying out of Japan. I'm watching episode 3 for the Schweinfurt raid. And we're hitting heavy air turbulence as on the screen they're flying through with all the flak. And it was the most surreal thing to be bumped around in the aircraft.
That's like full immersion.
While I was watching this show, it was absolutely awesome. It was just, it was one of the highlights of my flights over there on my trip.
That's the thing. Like you normally don't get any highlights on
I
flights.
know, exactly right.
Like here's this process I have to deal with before I can get to the fun part.
So Japan, I flew into Tokyo, into Haneda, and I did a really smart thing. I got my hotel room in Terminal 3, which I flew into and out of. And I arrived there, I want to say, about 4 o'clock, and got my bags all packed away. And I thought, I'll go check out the train system because that was scaring the absolute bejesus out of me.
Okay.
And it was remarkably simple.
Yes.
I tried,
especially once you get like Google going on your phone and it just...
Yeah. So it's a simple case of because on the machines you just push the button and it tells you English, so you can just, as long as you work out what station number you want to get to, you just push that button and it tells you how much, and you put your 1,000 yen note in and it just spits out the ticket and the change.
See, when I went there, I just had the card.
Yeah,
and you just
okay.
load money onto
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
The only problem is you have to load money in cash.
Well,
Because you can't just transfer from a credit card onto it, right?
I nearly thought about that, but the train.
I was there longer. Though,
Yeah.
And
I was only there for a short period, so I didn't think it made sense to do that. So to get from the airport to Akihabara only cost me 570 yen, I think, one way or something. It was $5.70, so that was nothing. But do not go to Japan in summer. The humidity was soul sapping.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, I thought
It's a huge concrete jungle, that city too.
Well, I thought I've been in heat before and I've been in the tropics and everything, but this was just next level, man.
It's crazy when you think about the fact that it also gets very cold
I know,
in that
right?
city in winter, right?
Yes. I just can't picture it.
It completely broke your idea of what Japan's supposed to be like, right?
Exactly.
So how'd you go to the language barrier?
The most polite people.
Oh, yeah.
And everything was squeaky clean. So here's a story. I get to the hotel and there's a line, and in Japan, if there's a line, you stand in the line.
Mm-hmm.
There was this person, a white person, who did not stand in the line.
Oh no!
And when the person moved away from the counter, he just stepped up in front of me.
Oh,
I was in the line, and he cut in. The hostess on the booking, she's saying no, him next, and he's sort of arguing that he's and I just waved. I said, go on, let him go, let him go. He was one of these obnoxious people, and I don't want to say
tourist from hell.
Well, yeah, I don't want to say which sort of country he came from because I don't want to offend our German, Swiss, or perhaps Austrian friends. But he was just really obnoxious. And after he had gone, and it was my turn next, she was so apologetic to me. They're just such a beautiful people.
Yeah.
It really was. And because of the time, so I'm going into Akihabara, and it's by then it's like 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And you see pictures of the trains in Tokyo and how they squeeze you in. Well, yes, it does happen. I mean, these guys just have no
I
personal
worked my way
space.
around that. I was never in peak hour.
They have no personal space whatsoever.
Yep.
And you are... Cheek and jowl is being polite for the way you stand on the train.
Yep.
And when the train comes to a stop, people just push past you to get off.
Yeah, of course.
They have to, but they just go bang, bang past you. And it's just accepted, It's,
yeah.
There's no, you don't get upset about it. It is what it is. So, so I got into Akihabara. I obviously got off at the right end because I found this department store and there's Kobayashi camera.
Oh, Yodobashi camera. Yeah.
I don't know whether that's the place I went into because I sent you guys a text saying,
Okay.
I'm here, but I don't know where the hell I am.
Yeah, well, I didn't either, so I didn't answer.
So I just went upstairs. I went to the 4th floor, I think, and because the heat was killing me, and geez, it was really busy, man. Really busy.
Well, I mean,
It was a Friday night.
basically, but
No, it wasn't a Friday night. It was like a no, it was Wednesday night.
well, it was it's one of those cities that it's the world's biggest city, right? So you're going to see lots of people there all the time.
But see,
anyway.
here's a weird thing I've seen because you study up, you do like YouTube videos of what it's like, and it's like the shops are empty, and that wasn't my experience.
That's because I filmed all that stuff during COVID.
That wasn't my experience at all. So I did a quick. So I figured, okay, I know how to get here. I then stressed out about getting the right train back to, but getting it back, it's easy. It just says Terminal 3 at the airport. You just push the button and get the right ticket. And again, like you said, Julian, just use Google to
figure out which
is. So I jumped on the train line and I got back home fine.
And so easy to find the right, because remember, you would have to go on the right line. Right?
Yes,
but
yes.
all the lines are color coded, so
Yeah,
it's
I know.
very easy. Just follow the grey one or the green one or the blue one, right?
The only thing is, because whether you're going northbound or southbound, so I was a bit worried about that. I might have got the right one.
yeah.
But I got on the right one.
Anyway,
And then got back to, and then went and found some nice Japanese food, had a lovely meal, and crashed in the hotel. Hotel, $130, and it was really good.
yeah.
Oh, and Tokyo's supposed to be expensive, but I found it to be quite reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next morning got up, had breakfast, had a Japanese breakfast, then put my bags away, checked my bags at the cloak office. So they said, yeah, just leave your bags here, because I was flying out later on that day. And just jumped on the train and headed back into town and explored the other parts and tried to find model shops that I hadn't been to, and went up and down all these different sort of floors, and I ended up buying a whole heap of stuff.
I know. We've got it's all over this table right now.
I bought a whole heap of stuff. So first of all, let's talk about the models.
All right, yeah. Okay, let's go with the models first. That's on the floor. That's not even on the table.
So the prices. So anything Bandai or Tamiya is dirt cheap, really cheap.
Yeah.
All the other kits there, like from China, Hobby Boss, you name all those other ones, they're about the same price as what you can get in Australia.
Yep.
So, and plus what I saw there I can get in Australia, so I didn't bother buying anything. But I found a whole heap of kits that I've never seen before, and I still don't quite figure out what it is. This is some sort of weird spaceship, and I don't know what that one
Let me
is.
have a look at it.
But
So-
it's- and then
it doesn't have any bit of English writing on
No.
this thing whatsoever.
No. And
Except for the part where it says plastic model kit 1 to 8,000 scale.
it's some sort of spaceship, but it looks really cool.
It looks like an aircraft carrier.
It looks like a submarine in space as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then there's another one, which it's
I
really
think you might have 2 kits in this.
Yeah, I
'Cause
may have.
there's 2 pictures.
Yeah, I may have. And then there was another one that I saw. It comes from NZ Industrial, and it's called Dunkelgelb. And it's a Riesen Panzer 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a robot of some description set in an alternative universe
1941,
where they have 94 and
1945.
45, and they're all robots running around. But I've never seen these before, but geez, they look really good. And I couldn't not help but purchase it. And I'll post pictures on our Facebook page so people can have a look at these particular models. And I'm really keen to sort of see how that gets built up. That looks like a lot of fun. What else did I get? Oh, yeah. Hang on. I got 2 Bandai kits. One is a Bastroyato, and the other one is an Alto dark grey robot thingy bob. Both from Bandai. One was 1,300 yen, which is $13 Aussie, and I don't know how much that one you got in your hand, Julian, is. That's probably something similar.
1,300 yen.
Well, there
so
you go.
it's 13
$13.
$13. It's nothing.
That's nothing. We'd pay at least $40 for that here in Australia.
Yeah, maybe.
And I just, you couldn't say no to prices like that. And then, of course, we've got all the tools and everything you can buy over there, and Julian made a really good observation while we're sort of having breakfast. He says, it's all very well, the tools, but you don't know what's available to look for online. It's only when you're there that you see it and you go, oh, man, that looks cool.
Yeah, like some stuff you can get outside of Japan that's made for the Japanese market, but if you don't know the product exists, how can you search for it?
Exactly right. Now, I've always wanted to get myself one of the Tamiya model cleaning brushes, which is an anti-static brush, so I've got
which
that.
I'm a big
$1.20.
advocate of. Yeah, $1.20.
$1.20. Come on, man. Why wouldn't you? Some scribers tape. 356 yen, which is $3.50.
So that's $13.
Sorry, $13. Yeah, but the tape's $3.50. Some Tamiya compound applicator 3-color set, 972 yen.
It's like a polishing cloth kind of thing.
$9. And I managed to get myself some holographic finish tape.
So this is the Hasegawa, various. They got like a whole bunch of different kind of reflective finishes. This one you got holographic, and one is like clear blue
Which is going to be really cool on my tanks for the
Yeah. for the vision blocks.
yes.
hmm
And I actually saw this in at Madison at the Tamiya USA stand. It's called Tamiya
This is their new product.
Ultra Thin Aluminium Stickers, 2 pieces. So I said to George, who's running it, I said, that looks cool. I'm heading to Tokyo. I'll grab it when I get there. So I got to Tokyo and I found a particular store and they had 6 on the rack. So I took all 6 to clean them out.
Greedy Westerners.
Well, I figured it's going to be really good for doing,
Well, see, the thing is, like, Japanese
Metal
stores
finish.
are not like Western stores where they'll have like a rack and there'll be like 20 of the one product on that rack.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, they'll only have like 3 or 5, right? Because there's another store just up the road that will have the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like you would just go to a different store. You don't have to travel to. You just have to walk around the corner to get it. You know, you don't.
Yep,
You
yep.
don't need to go to the next suburb over.
That's handy.
I got some God Hand, I don't know what you call these. You've got these, Julian, as well. You bought them when you were over there.
Is this the? Yeah, they're sort of like scribers or something.
Yeah, like
you know?
Scriber stuff. Some interesting decals that will just look good.
Oh, they're kind of like chisels. They're designed like if you look at the directions on the back, they're designed to be pushed.
Yes,
not
yeah.
pulled on.
And I thought they would be good for doing panel lines and stuff.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it depends on like how you would use them. I suppose. Yeah.
I think if I pull them rather than push them. But that should be cool.
Yeah.
A whole heap of the cotton swabs from Mr. Hobby because
They're handy. Those little
they're just so
cotton-
handy. They're great for cleaning airbrushes. They are brilliant.
Yeah,
And-
they're like the pointy Q-tips.
Yeah, and they're just
For
dirt
our
cheap.
American friends.
You know, why not just grab them? And of course, what some of the other stuff I got was just sanding cloths from
Sanding sponges.
sanding sponges. Just a whole packet of them.
Whole bunch of God hand ones, basically.
Yeah, so it's all.
And then you got these 2 things. These wooden M blocks, I guess you could call them.
Yeah, so it looks like an M, but it's a thick block at about an inch thick.
It's like a machinist's block kind
Yes.
of thing, except it's like in an M shape with a whole bunch of like 45s and 90 degrees kind of things on them. And they're made out of nicely finished plywood.
Which is perfect for just resting a model ship or a rocket as you're building a rocket.
Yeah. I looked at the packaging. I was like, oh, that's what sold it for Dave, because he looked on the back of it and there's like a picture of a rocket
Yeah.
on one.
And some Tamiya polishing compound. I couldn't get the medium one.
What's
I've
with
got.
all the polishing stuff?
Well, I'll tell you why.
Sound like-
Because
Are you planning to build a car or?
No. I have got the Airfix Gannet, and there's that seam to take out of the canopy.
Oh,
So I'm
giving yourself a fighting chance.
yeah, because I've never taken the seam out of a clear plastic part before, so I'm just trying to buy as much of the polishing stuff that I can think of that'll
Yeah,
do the job.
why not?
So yeah, so Japan was wonderful. I'd really love to go back with you guys and sort of check the place out. I think it'd be a load of fun just
Oh, it would be.
sort of going around
It'd be
there. And
awesome.
Japan's only a 10-hour flight for us. And
Yeah.
we can get there and back for $900 on a flight. And as I said, it made so much sense for me to stay.
That's a direct flight, by the way.
Yeah.
You get up there for cheap at half that.
Yeah, and it just made so much sense for me to stay at the terminal because it's only like a half-hour train ride to Akihabara. And that's the stop about 3 stops after Tokyo, heading north, heading downtown.
So you're actually in the airport, right?
Yes.
Okay. When I was going out through that airport, I stayed at a nearby hotel that was like 1 stop down on the line that runs to it. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was alright. Yeah.
Well, the worst thing that would drive me nuts is dragging all my baggage on the train. So this just worked so well for me.
Well, yeah, you had more than I did.
Oh, the beers. Oh, my God, I love Japanese beers. And you get them. It's like these huge, great big glasses. And I just sit down and just drank a whole glass. Well, it was that, as I said, I've spoken before, it's so humid. And you know what? They don't sweat.
Like, so you're used to it.
So here's me, a fat Westerner walking around with sweat sort of coming all down my brow. And you look at all these Japanese people in there, Not a drop of sweat on their brow. What the hell? I don't know.
Well, they were probably like, better dressed for it.
And they're
things like
acclimatised.
that.
Well, hang on. I was better dressed. I had shorts and a t-shirt on. These guys are like, some of them were in suits even. It was weird.
Yeah, you just got to get acclimatised.
Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing I've noticed is that people who live in warm climates like that, they just walk slower everywhere they go, so they don't build up a sweat. They don't work it up.
Right.
Things like that. I have heard of like Hong Kong businessmen walking around with like ice packs inside the pockets of their suits.
Well, I did
back in the day.
I did see people walking around that had built-in fans into the clothes they were wearing.
Oh yeah, I've seen that sort of thing.
really?
Which I thought was both weird and cool at the same time.
yeah. So like you can get like workwear,
Yep.
for trade kind of work, and they've got like literal fans built into them.
Yeah, that's the tradies
Electric
doing
fans,
that. Yeah.
and they just
Wow.
run off of like a small battery that you just plug in by, I think USB, something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I think when we go back to Japan, it won't be in summer.
Yeah, of course not. Don't do that.
I could do winter. I could do
When
autumn.
I went-
Nah,
I
not
could
winter.
do
I'd probably go spring.
Spring will be packed because everybody wants to go there for spring.
Yeah.
So off-peak autumn.
Autumn, yeah.
And the amount of Westerners and foreigners who are in these model shops
It'd be a
going
lot, wouldn't
around,
it?
a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. But even things like Western families going up there. You see the bored wife there standing there rolling her eyes while the husband and the kids sort of go and circle around. And
There's no reason for them to follow around. There's so much stuff to see,
yeah, but it's too oppressive to stay outside because that humidity, it was soul-sapping, I tell you.
No, it is. It's brutal. It is pretty brutal. Yeah, when I went there, I told you how I went to that drift event.
Yes.
And they hold it
yes,
seasonally.
yes.
So there's 4 a year, I think.
Right.
One for each season. Like there's the winter, there's the summer, there's the...
Yep.
No one goes to this. Not many people go to the summer one.
Yeah.
It's the least populated one because it's the
Crazy
one
to go there in
that people
summer.
will go there for winter. They'll go there for the other 2 seasons, obviously. But the summer one's just too
hot.
brutal. And it's cooler up there because it's up in the mountains. It's cooler up there,
Wow.
and still people don't go because you're going to be working on your car.
Yeah.
Standing outdoors and waiting for the cars heat up. And then they have to cool off, even faster.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
spend
yeah.
more downtime, and it's not a good time.
And the other thing that surprised me about Tokyo itself, the city, was how many canals there are in there.
There's a lot of little,
A lot of canals.
river type things.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they would have been like a proper river at some point.
Well,
but-
I don't know, because
It's
it's
all- it's
probably
all-
built out onto
yeah,
the
yeah.
bay, but it just struck me as, oh, wow, I didn't expect that. So I had a wonderful time there. I loved it. I think Japan should be on everybody's shopping list to go there one day.
Yep.
And
it probably is because they're
Yeah.
flooded with tourism at the moment.
well, and the yen is so weak compared to the Aussie dollar as well, so it's perfect time to go.
Everyone's dollars.
Well, that's
Everyone's
true.
dollars.
That's true.
The conversion rate to US dollars is crazy.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this podcast and you should use this as your signal to go buy something on a Japanese website
Yep.
because you'll get your bang for buck for sure.
Yep. Or better still, just go and buy it in person.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Beautiful
Yeah,
Japanese
look,
food, Japanese beer.
If
I told you to go and try the Japanese whiskey.
Well,
And unfortunately, I did it after you'd posted a picture of you drinking a Japanese beer, and you're like, I'm going to be...
Well, here's the thing. I was only here for a very short period of time,
Yeah.
and you put Dave in a high humidity area, and I've had a couple of beers already. If I hadn't had whiskies, that would have just pushed me over the edge. So
you wouldn't
I
have been able to
figured-
get it back.
I'll just stick with a beer, which I love Japanese beer. But I've had Japanese whiskey before, it's
It's
really
nice. It's a good
nice.
drop in it.
But I quite like their sake, especially slightly warmed up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
Yes.
Well,
Very
that's more of a winter experience, I think.
Well, yes, true, very true. All right, so we've got a couple of announcements to make. So that's my trip to Japan, all done and dusted.
Done and dusted.
Let's get these announcements made. All right. Okay, so the giveaway for our Patreon supporters from One Man Army, which is a company in Belgium that produces basic markings and stencils and masks. We have as a giveaway a 1/24th scale high definition airbrush mask for the 1/24th scale Airfix. And Ian, what's the other one you got there?
Is for the 1/32nd scale Trumpeter Grumman F4F4 Wildcats.
Fantastic markings and stencil
Yeah,
masks.
it's all the stencils that you can airbrush.
From One Man Army. And One Man Army, you can go to www.1manarmy.be and go and check that out. So I'll be announcing at our next episode who the lucky Patreon supporter is who has won that. And last but not least, we need to talk about the Moosaroo Cup.
Yay! Julian's.
So, this year, with the help of ICM Models, Lightspeed Global and the Hamilton Model Club of Canada, we have a
It's a dual kit.
midget submarines
Okay.
in 72nd scale,
Dual kit.
which Julian will be building. However, don't get too excited yet because I'm about to read out the instructions
Okay.
as to what you can and can't do.
All right.
You ready?
What can I do and what can't I do?
All right. As I open the envelope. Hamilton IPMS, with the continued support of Lightspeed Global, are proud to once again sponsor the Moosaroo Cup. This year you have been provided with ICM's dual boxing of the German Kriegsmarine Seehund and Moish midget submarines in 1/72nd scale to build, detail, and finish and present to the best of your abilities. Here are some guidelines to help you along the way. The start date, Julian. You can build on or after August the 3rd, but not before.
August the 3rd. Okay.
That's only next week.
End date. Entries are due by Saturday, March the 15th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Canada.
Yep.
You say March?
Yep.
March.
Okay. That's a
a
long
fair
way
way
away.
away, yeah.
Yes, you said that about
I
the
know. I
last
know. I know.
Build parameters. You are tasked with building one of the provided submarine kits. Builder's choice.
Okay.
You may upgrade, detail, or modify the base kit as long as it's identifiable as a submarine in your final presentation. Presentation. This year, your entry is to be presented in the form of a vignette.
Ooh, I like
A
it.
scenic base,
I like it.
to some degree, is mandatory.
Okay.
Figures, accessories, complementary vehicles or equipment, other details are encouraged but not mandatory. The definition of a vignette. For the purposes of the Moosaroo Cup, a vignette may tell a story or may simply depict a snapshot in time or location. Judging criteria. Your entry will be judged in a combination of factors including build, execution figures, if used, groundwork, finish and weathering, as well as composition and detail. Judges. Completed entries will be judged by a volunteer group of judges from the members of IPMS Hamilton. I tried to read it really fast, in the ads. Entry format. So it just again talks about how many you need to sort of send, pictures and what sort of size they need to be, etc., etc. And of course, winning entry will be announced at March 23, 2025 at Heritage Con 17. There you go.
Okay.
Happy modelling.
Yeah.
Happy modelling.
Good on you. That
Well-
looks like a great little idea.
Well, you let the team down last year, so
That's right.
He needs to.
Are you disappointed though? Because this could have been one of you guys.
Well,
kid,
yeah.
Had I not.
Yeah, well, the vignette kind of puts me off a bit, so I'm glad to.
Oh, I've already got a few ideas what you could do. Well, one of the things is you can do whatever you want with one.
Yeah,
You can sci-fi one out
you could, as long as it's still recognisable.
as long as it's still
And it's
recognisable.
a vignette.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like the Japanese Yamato
Yeah.
in space,
yeah.
something like that.
I'm not likely to do that.
Hard to do a vignette of it in space. How would
Yeah,
you do that?
exactly. It's one of the things to grapple with. It's why you always
It
see
is.
Gundams always on, if they're in some kind of diorama base, it's always on land,
Yeah, yeah.
typically.
I reckon you should have fun with that.
Quick flashback to Tokyo. While I was walking around, I had one eye on the skyline to make sure Godzilla wasn't stomping around everywhere. I'll give you that tip right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, good old Godzilla. Yes.
So, Julian, there you go. All done. Our hopes and pride rest on your shoulders.
Sure.
All right.
You're a country's last hope.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Well, that wraps up the show.
Yes, which was mostly 99% of Dave talking.
70-second scale.
Yeah, it's only tiny. It's not very big.
Okay.
You take it out and play with it when you get home.
Okay. I kind of want to open the box and know how big it is already.
Gentlemen, thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget, once again, that giveaway for our Patreon supporters from One Man Army. We have the 32nd scale high definition airbrush masks for the Trumpeter Grumman F4 Wildcat and 124 scale Spitfire Mark 9C for Airfix.
And thank you very much to One Man Army.
And that's a giveaway for the next one, and we'll announce the winner then. It's been great being back in the seat and talking to all you guys. Fantastic catching up with everybody from around the world. All of our listeners are meeting you face to face. And a huge thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who, without your beautiful support, we could not do this show.
Yes.
Ian.
That's it, guys, for another 2 weeks.
Julian.
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to be thinking about what to do with this model kit. Because it's not so much like the building of the model that is the big deal. It's the putting it in the setting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food for thought. Yes.
Well, next episode, hopefully get some ideas you might be willing to share.
Yeah.
And I'll sling you a couple of ideas when we're off air.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll be back in a fortnight. Until then,
Bye.
see you later.
That's it.